Have you ever had that feeling where your search engine is, well, basically reading your mind? You know, you type in a few vague words and somehow it just gets it. It serves up exactly what you were looking for. Well, that's not magic, but it is an incredibly powerful idea. And today, we're going to pull back that curtain and see exactly how it all works.
So let's dive right in with the fundamental problem of search. It's something we all run into every single day, but we probably don't stop to think about it. You could call it a kind of paradox.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? If you knew the perfect words to describe exactly what you were looking for, you might not even need to search for it. You're stuck trying to find something you can't quite put into words.
This really gets to the heart of the problem. There's this huge gap between what's actually going on in our heads, our information need, and the few words we manage to type into the search box, our query. You know, our real need is complex, it's nuanced, but our queries, they're often short, simple, and honestly, a pretty terrible translation of what we're really after.
Okay, let's make this super clear with a classic example. You head to your favorite search engine, and you type in one single, incredibly ambiguous word, Jaguar.
Right off the bat, the search engine is totally stumped. It has no idea what you actually need. Are you a car person, a nature lover, a retro gamer? See, the thing is, ambiguity is the default. Those first results you see are just a best guess, because all the system has to go on are those few words you gave it.
So how do we fix this? Well, we have to stop thinking about search as a one-and-done command and start seeing it for what it is, a conversation. And this is where this really powerful idea called relevance feedback enters the picture.
At its core, relevance feedback is a brilliantly simple concept. The system makes its first guess, shows it to you, and then you give it hints. You tell it if it's getting warmer or colder. You're basically helping it learn what you mean.
And the key thing to get here is that this isn't just a single transaction. It's an interactive cycle, a back and forth. You search, you give a little feedback, and the system sharpens its understanding of your actual goal. And with each pass, it gets closer and closer to what you really need.
Okay, so how does this conversation actually work under the hood? How does the system take your feedback and magically translate that into better results? Let's get into the mechanics of it.
It's really just a simple four-step loop. First, you put in a query. Second, you judge the results. Third, the system takes your judgment and reformulates its own search. And fourth, you get a brand new, much better list of results. This can just keep going until you find exactly what you were hoping for.
To really wrap your head around this, let's use an analogy. Imagine all the information in the world. Every web page, every document is laid out on a giant map. When you type in a query, you're not giving a final destination, you're just dropping a pin at a starting location. It's a rough guess of where you want to be.
So this is our Jaguar problem right here on the map. Your pin for Jaguar is right in the middle, but the actual results, the cars, the animals, the video games, they're all scattered in different neighborhoods all over the place. But then you step in. You provide the feedback. Maybe you click on a link about the big cat, or in an older system, you might hit a "more like this" button. What you're doing is pointing to one of those neighborhoods on the map and saying, hey, over here, this is the area I'm actually interested in.
And this right here is the aha moment. The system sees your signal and it completely recalculates. It literally moves your query pin on the map, it shifts its aim away from the irrelevant stuff and moves it right into the neighborhood of the documents you said were good. And that's how the second round of results is so much better.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Hang on, I never use a "more like this" button. And you're absolutely right. Most of us don't give this kind of direct, explicit feedback anymore. So, how does it all still work so well?
The truth is, we just don't want to do that extra work. So, modern systems had to get a whole lot smarter. They learned how to get that feedback just by watching what we do, automatically. So this brings us to two main types of feedback. You've got explicit feedback, which is when you're actively telling the system what's good, but then there's implicit feedback. And this is where the system learns just by observing your natural behavior. And the most important behavior of all is what you click on. So there are two really clever automated methods. One is called pseudo-relevance feedback, where the system basically makes a bet. It just assumes its own top results are probably the right ones and uses them to refine the search for you. But the second one, implicit feedback, is what we all experience every day. It uses your clicks as a direct signal of what you're actually interested in. But here's the really subtle, really brilliant part. A click isn't just a vote for one document. Think about it.
If you skip the first two results and you click on the third one, you've sent an incredibly powerful signal. You've just told the system that you preferred result number 3 over results 1 and 2. It's a preference signal, and that is gold.
Okay, so let's bring this all home. What does this all mean for you every single time you search for something online?
If there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that you are not just a passive searcher. You are an active participant. In fact, you're the most important part of this whole feedback loop. You are constantly training the search engine with everything you do.
And just how good is this implicit feedback from all of us? Well, get this. Studies have shown that what the system learns from our clicks lines up with what human experts would say is relevant about 80% of the time. That is an unbelievably strong signal. So from now on, just remember that. Every single click you make is a vote. You're teaching the search engine what matters. You are helping to shape that giant map of information, not just for you, but for everyone else who comes after you. And that leaves us with one final big question to chew on. This whole feedback loop is amazing at helping us zero in on what we're looking for. But as these systems get better and better at predicting what we want, what happens when we want to discover something completely new, something we didn't even know we were looking for? In a world this personalized, what does it even mean to get truly wonderfully lost? Something to think about.